this on? Can you hear me? All right, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Huxley College of the Environment graduation ceremony. Last year, on this day, I was sitting in the second to last row back there as a parent of a Huxley student. And I can't tell you how great it is to now be part of this community and be able to be up here and with you today. And to the class of 2013, congratulations, you are graduating at a most important time in world history. It is a troubling and uncertain time, full of challenges, but yes, full of opportunity. Most of you were born in the early 1990s, which means that you came into the world at a time when wolves were being reintroduced into the American West, the UN banned drift net fishing in the international waters, the EPA limited pesticide exposure to farm workers and in our food supply, and President Clinton signed an executive order restricting logging of old-growth forests to protect the northern spotted owl. Those were tough problems, and we've made good progress on them. But in the meantime, there are other even more difficult and intractable problems that have come to the fore. Class of 2013, you have a big responsibility. Just 3 weeks ago, we learned the ratio of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere reached 400 parts per million, the most rapid run-up since record-keeping began. The last time the Earth's atmosphere contained 400 parts per million of carbon dioxide was more than 2.5 million years ago during the Pleistocene epoch. You are going to have to figure out for us what it means to be a human being on this Earth at a time when every living system is under pressure. Society needs a new operating system. You are the programmers, and we need it done during your career span. You will do this work in boardrooms, classrooms, courtrooms. You will do it in laboratories and from a pickup truck out in the field. Some of you will write, produce films, go into elective office, plan the built environment we inhabit, or help make public policy. Others of you will be wonderful parents and community volunteers. And others will serve in ways that we can't even imagine today. This is what makes us so hopeful about you. You are brilliant, and the Earth is hiring.
It's been 10 long years since I left my home in the hollow where I was born, where the cool fall nights make the woods go right. Fox hunter blows his horn.
I also want to apologize if I smell bad. People in the front row, I just walked out of the Central Idaho Wilderness, but you guys are Huxley students. You know a lot of smells. What I would like to do is, we've been here for a long time, some of us, myself included, and a lot of energy, time, commitment spent working here. And I think we need a moment to release all of that before we move on. So I'd like everyone just to stand up. And on the count of 3, I just want you guys to throw your heads back and howl at the moon. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. That was nice. So like Steve said, my name is Seth. I've been calling this wonderful city home for the last 5 years. I'm really sad to leave. And when you come into school as an 18-year-old and leave as a 23-year-old, leaving 5 years of adolescence and growth and coming-of-age experiences here, it's inevitable that you change. Paulo Coelho, one of my favorite authors, once wrote that it's important to be bold, take chances. Nothing can substitute experience. That's what I feel this town, this community, and this university, particularly Huxley, has done for me and for all of us, encouraged us to be bold. I believe that Huxley students, from being around here for so long, are some of the most passionate on campus. I think you guys would all probably agree with me. It's because you found something in the natural world that resonates with you. Am I right? Yeah. You guys are called to serve, and you're called to serve something that speaks to you. But there's a lot of other people out there that, in a sense, would try to oppose that. I was recently over in Idaho and watching an old Forest Service video made in the 70s about the Wilderness Act, and a quote caught my eye, and there was a guy talking about those damn hippies that want to preserve natural tracts of land. And he said they're selfish people. They would rather keep the land for natural, aesthetic, or spiritual values rather than extract something useful from it. They're selfish people. And a question I would have loved to ask this individual, and I asked to myself, and I like to ask to you all, is, where would you be without the natural world? Not so much where does my clothes come from, where does my food come from? That's all important, but where would you be inside? I don't know about you all, but thinking about that really frightens me, and so that's one of the big issues we're all addressing. So thank you all. I need it, you need it, and thank you for being the class and being the voice to defend it, because it needs it. The last theme that I want to touch on is one of simple, pure happiness. A good friend of mine told me once that incredible opportunities come to people who travel in happiness, and that's something that I try and travel with. And I know that the path of happiness looks different to everyone, and parents, you might not like hearing me say this, but you guys don't have to get a job right away. Don't be in a rush. Yeah, right? Like I said, happiness is a different path for everyone. The job might be the path, it might not be. But I think it's worth saying that it doesn't have to be.
In love with girl from town, I thought that she would be true. I ran away to Charlottesville, worked in a sawmill or two. Oh, what have you done to the old place? And why didn't they tear it down? Why did I leave out in the field? Look for a job in the town. Yo! Why did I leave out in the field? Look for a job in the town. Empty barn! Number. Are you ready to dance? This is the dance number. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cherry trees are up for those cherries. Missy girls and two, they were married. Fly around, pretty little miss, fly around my daisy. Fly around, pretty little miss, you almost drive me crazy. Pictures in summertime, apples in the fall. I can have my true love, don't want no know. Fly around, pretty little miss, fly around my daisy. Fly around, pretty little miss, you almost drive me crazy.
Well, first I'd like to say if anyone wants to come up and dance while I'm giving my speech, you're more than welcome. I would also say you guys must be really good because somehow you were doing the dance and then you ended up in your seats. Like, it was amazing. It really was. Well, 2,000 graduates of Huxley College of the Environment. Obviously, the first thing to say is congratulations. And to the parents, the friends, the siblings who are here with you today, thank you for being here. If it takes a village to raise a child, it certainly takes a village to get them through college. We all know that. And yes, for the rest of your lives, and I know this and you need to know it, you will be asked, where did you go to college? Where did you go to school? And you will be able to answer, I went to Huxley College in the state of Washington, and that's really cool. So you'll be carrying that with you. A common theme is that young people are wanting to come and live back into the city, back where they can live, work, and recreate close by. Young people care about the environment. It's not something that is out there. It's an institutional part of their lives. But just as important, the clients that we work with care about the environment. They care because the young people that they're hiring care. They care because it makes good business sense. And finally, I think all of us have found a way to talk about environmental stewardship in a way that touches our hearts, touches our memories of what was important when we were growing up, and touches what's important to us today. If you don't mind, though, I'd like to ask you graduates for help. My generation has done some very wonderful things, some very powerful things, but we've gotten off track in a few areas. And one of those areas is the ability as a people, as a community, and as a culture to respectfully have a civil discourse on important subjects. We all see this in Washington, D.C., we see it in Olympia, and too often we see it in our own town halls. And we see it every day in our media outlets. The sides have fallen into this pattern of attack dog. Any form of compromise is painted as a weakness. Any recognition of the other side's point of view is labeled as a sellout. Everyone is frozen in untractable positions and nothing gets done. So this is where we need your help. I mean this sincerely. We need your help to teach your parents well because we've gotten off track on this. You can teach us by your examples. You can be passionate without being angry. You can be passionate without being afraid. You can passionately disagree with someone without calling them a fool. You can be passionate in a compassionate way. And in doing so, you will pull people to you rather than pushing them away. You can learn the skill of compromise and listening. And I know some people say, here's this speaker today at my graduation telling me to compromise. But the answer is, if you don't want the word compromise, say strategic settlement or negotiated agreement or everybody wins. I don't care. The point is, we must make incremental steps to move our country forward. And incremental steps are wonderful things. They build momentum. And I have been involved in a few projects in my last couple decades since I left here. Momentum is tangible. It is touch. You can touch it. You can feel it. It is a commodity. And you cannot create momentum if you are inert and will not move. Small steps count. Small steps move to the next steps.
Now, a long-standing tradition is for Huxley College graduates to receive a Western red cedar seedling as part of the graduation ceremony. Western red cedar was used by the indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest coast from Oregon to southeast Alaska. As such, no other plant quite represents the bioregion where we live and work, and it's even part of our Huxley logo. So at this time, we'll begin by calling this year's graduates up on the stage to receive their seedling.
You're all welcome. Well, my girl, she ran off with somebody else. The taverns took all my pay. I stand where the old folks stood before they took it away. Oh, what have they done to the old?
What I'd like the whole group to do now is kind of move forward in front of this table and reorganize yourself for the Huxley Class of 2013 photo. And this will be the time for anybody who wants to kind of get into this photo. So we're going to need the front row to kind of get down.
By north, and the north wind blows. I stand here, hang my head. I lost my love, and I lost my home. I wish I went to Huxley instead. Oh, what have I done to the old home place? Why